Thanks for checking out my channel. Your support means so much. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give it a like, and share it with someone that you love. The Firefly's Glow. Following your inner spark. Chapter 1. The Whisper of the Meadow. The sun dipped low beyond the horizon, its golden glow softening into shades of pink, lavender, and dusty blue. The air was calm, carrying the faintest hint of jasmine and the earthy aroma of fresh moss. A gentle breeze whispered through the meadow, where blades of grass swayed gracefully, catching the last remnants of sunlight in their emerald embrace. Nestled at the edge of this meadow was a small weathered cottage, its roof covered in creeping ivy, and its windows glowing faintly with the warm light of a flickering fire. This was your sanctuary, a quiet retreat from the world, where time moved slowly, as if the very air held a secret magic. Inside the cottage, the world was a patchwork of comfort and care. Shelves lined with well-loved books leaned against walls painted in soft shades of cream and sage. A teapot, still warm from brewing chamomile tea, rested on a wooden table, accompanied by a single cup. Beside it, a candle flickered gently, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The crackling fire in the hearth added its own rhythm to the quiet symphony of the evening. You settled into a well-worn armchair near the window, a soft blanket draped across your lap. As you sipped your tea, your gaze wandered to the meadow outside. The first stars were beginning to emerge, tiny pinpricks of light in the velvety sky. And then, as if summoned by the night itself, the fireflies appeared. At first, there was just one, a faint golden glow hovering above the grass. It pulsed gently, like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. Then another appeared, and another, until the meadow was alive with tiny flickering lights. They danced in the air, weaving intricate patterns as though painting the night with their luminescence. You felt a tug at your heart, a quiet call to step outside and join them. Wrapping your blanket around your shoulders, you rose from the chair and opened the cottage door. The cool evening air greeted you, carrying the soft hum of crickets and the distant hoot of an owl. As you stepped into the meadow, the fireflies seemed to welcome you, their glowing forms drifting closer. One in particular caught your eye, a tiny creature with a glow brighter than the others, its light a warm, golden hue. It hovered near you, its movements slow and deliberate, as if inviting you to follow. Without hesitation, you began to walk, your footsteps light and silent on the grass. The firefly led the way, its glow illuminating a path that seemed to wind deeper and deeper into the meadow than you've ever gone before. The world around you grew quieter. The sounds of the cottage and the distant village fading into the stillness of the night. As you followed the firefly, the air seemed to change. It grew warmer, softer, as though the very essence of the night was wrapping around you like a comforting embrace. The fireflies around you pulsed in unison, their lights creating a gentle rhythm that matched the steady beat of your heart. You began to notice the details of the path beneath your feet, the way the grass shimmered with the dew, each droplet catching the light like a tiny star. Wildflowers dotted the meadow, their petals closing for the night, but still vibrant in the soft glow of the fireflies. The world felt alive, as if every blade of grass, every stone, and every whisper of the wind was part of a grand symphony, a reminder that you were not alone. The firefly ahead of you paused, its glow intensifying for a moment before it darted towards a small grove of trees. You hesitated, the sight of the grove stirring something deep within you, a sense of familiarity, as if you'd been here before, though you couldn't quite place when or why. Taking a deep breath, you followed the firefly into the grove. The trees stood tall and ancient, their branches intertwining to form a natural canopy. Moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting delicate patterns on the forest floor. The air here was even more fragrant, filled with the scent of pine and the faint sweetness of wild honeysuckle. In the center of the grove stood a single tree, its trunk wide and gnarled, its roots spreading out like the fingers of a giant hand. The firefly led you to this tree, its glow growing softer as it settled on one of the roots. You knelt beside it, feeling the cool earth beneath your fingers, and you closed your eyes. As you sat in the stillness, you felt a sense of connection, not just to the grove or to the meadow, but to something far greater. It was as if the firefly's light had awakened a spark within you, a quiet reminder of the light that you carried, even in the darkest of times. And so you stayed there, cradled by the grove and the gentle glow of the fireflies, your heart quiet and your mind at ease. It was a moment of pure peace, a reminder that your inner spark would always guide you, just as the firefly had led you here. Chapter 2: The Tree of Whispered Memories. The longer you sat at the base of the ancient tree, the more you felt its presence. It wasn't just a tree. It seemed alive in a way that was difficult for you to put into words. The bark was rough beneath your hand, but as you traced its grooves and its swirls, they felt deliberate, as if etched by time to tell a story. The firefly remained perched on the root near you, its glow steady and warm, like a gentle companion waiting patiently. A soft breeze stirred the leaves above, and you thought you heard something, faint, barely audible. You tilted your head, straining to listen. At first it seemed like the wind, but as you focused, the sound took on a clearer shape. It was a voice, or perhaps many voices, murmuring together in harmony. You closed your eyes and let the whispers wash over you. They weren't words in the traditional sense, but feelings, impressions, and memories carried by the air. You felt moments of joy, like laughter rippling through the meadow. You felt waves of sorrow, as gentle and persistent as the tide. You felt love, boundless, unconditional, and timeless. The firefly flitted closer, its light pulsing in rhythm with the whispers. You opened your eyes, and to your amazement, the glow from the firefly began to spread. It moved from its tiny body to the tree, illuminating the grooves and patterns in the bark. The light revealed shapes, stories etched into the wood. One of the shapes caught your eye. It was a spiral, simple yet mesmerizing. And as you traced it with your fingers, a vision began to unfold in your mind. You saw a young girl, her face radiant with curiosity, walking through this fairy grove. She carried a small lantern, its flickering flame mirroring the fireflies that danced around her. She knelt by the tree, much as you were now, and whispered her hopes into the bark. The tree seemed to listen, its branches swaying gently as if acknowledging her words. The vision shifted, and now you saw a group of villagers gathered in the meadow. They stood in a circle, holding hands, their faces lit with the same soft glow as the fireflies. They were singing, a low melodic hum that seemed to rise from the earth itself. The song was one of gratitude, a tribute to the light within them all. The spiral faded, and as you found yourself back in the grove, your hand still resting on the tree, the firefly hovered in front of you, its glow brighter now, as if encouraging you to rise. You stood slowly, your movements deliberate, and felt a new sense of purpose awaken within you. The firefly darted ahead, its light casting long shadows across the forest floor. You followed, the path winding deeper and deeper into the grove. Chapter 3. The Bridge of Light. The grove opened into a clearing, where a stream meandered lazily through the grass. The water was so clear it reflected the fireflies above, creating the illusion of two skies, one above and one below. A narrow wooden bridge spanned the stream, its planks worn smooth by countless footsteps. The firefly paused at the bridge's edge, its light steady. As you stepped onto the first plank, you felt a warmth spread through your body. It wasn't just the firefly's glow. It was something more profound, as if the bridge itself was alive with energy. Halfway across, you paused, drawn to the water below. It wasn't just reflecting the fireflies. It was showing something else. You knelt on the bridge and peered into the stream. At first, the images were faint, shapes rippling like shadows beneath the surface. But as you focused, they became clearer. You saw yourself as a child, running barefoot through the field, your laughter echoing in the open air. You saw moments of kindness, a hand extended to help someone, a smile offered at just the right time. And then you saw a moment when you felt small, overwhelmed, and unsure. The firefly's glow brightened, and the image shifted. This time, you saw yourself in that same moment, but you were surrounded by light. It wasn't coming from the fireflies or the stars. It was coming from you. The glow pulsed softly, a reminder that even in your most challenging moments, your inner spark had never left you. You rose from the bridge, your heart lighter. The firefly darted ahead again, leading you towards the other side of the stream. Chapter 4. The Lantern Keeper. On the far side of the stream stood a small cabin, its windows glowing softly like the cottage that you left behind. Smoke curled lazily from the chimney, and the air carried the faint scent of cedar and spices. The firefly led you to the door, where it hovered briefly before darting inside through a crack in the wood. You hesitated for a moment, then gently pushed the door open. The interior of the cabin was cozy, filled with the warm glow of lanterns hanging from the ceiling. Each lantern was unique, some tall and slender, others round and ornate. Their light flickered gently, casting intricate patterns on the walls. In the center of the room stood an elderly woman, her hair silver and her eyes bright with wisdom. She smiled as you entered, as though she'd been expecting you. "Welcome," she said, her voice soft and melodic. "You've come a long way to find your spark." The firefly settled on her shoulder, its glow blending seamlessly with the light of the lanterns. The woman gestured for you to sit by the hearth, where a pot of tea simmered gently. As she poured a cup for you, she began to speak. "Every soul carries a light," she said, "but sometimes we forget how to let it shine. That's why the fireflies come, to remind us of the spark we hold within." The elderly woman handed you a delicate porcelain cup, steam rising from the golden tea within. The scent was soothing, a blend of lavender, honey, and something you couldn't quite place, but it reminded you of home. She sat across from you, her hands folded neatly in her lap, her eyes filled with the calm patience of someone you had seen many lifetimes. The firefly remained perched on her shoulder, its glow steady and reassuring. "You've felt the pulse of your life, haven't you?" she asked gently, her voice a soft melody. You nodded, unsure of how to respond. There was something about her presence that felt ancient and wise, as though she could see every moment of your life with just one look. She continued, "There are times when we forget. Times when the world feels heavy and the glow within us seems to dim. But the light never truly fades. It's always there, waiting for us to remember." The firefly took flight, hovering between the two of you. Its glow pulsed rhythmically, and the woman gestured toward it. "This little one is a guide," she explained. "A messenger from the unseen world. It found you because your spark was calling out, even if you couldn't hear it." You watched the firefly as it danced through the air, its movements graceful. Its light seemed brighter now, as if the woman's words had infused it with renewed energy. "Each lantern in this room," the woman said, gesturing around her, "represents a soul. They were brought here by the fireflies, just like you were. And each light carries a story, a lesson, a reminder of the unique spark within." She rose from her chair and approached one of the lanterns hanging from the ceiling. It was a delicate creation, made of intricately etched glass that shimmered even without the glow from within. "This one," she said, tracing her fingers along the etchings, "belongs to a man who believed his light was gone forever. He had faced great loss and carried a heavy burden of guilt. But the firefly found him, just as yours found you, and it guided him here, and he remembered his light. He left this lantern as a gift, so that others could see it and be inspired." The woman turned back to you, her expression kind yet serious. "Do you understand? Your spark isn't just for you. It's a gift you share with the world. When you let it shine, you inspire others to do the same." You felt her words settle deep within you, like seeds planting themselves in the fertile soil of your soul. "But how do I let it shine?" you asked softly. She smiled, a knowing gleam in her eyes. "You follow it," she said simply. "Your spark will lead you, just as the firefly led you here. It will guide you towards the things that bring you joy, the people who need your light, and the moments that remind you of who you truly are." The firefly flitted back to your side, its glow pulsing softly. The woman reached out and placed her hand over yours. "Close your eyes," she said, "and listen." You obeyed, letting your eyelids fall shut. The warmth of the firefly's glow and the woman's touch anchored you as the world around you faded into stillness. At first, you heard only the crackle of the fire in the hearth and the faint hum of the lanterns. But then, a deeper sound emerged, a soft rhythmic vibration, like the beating of wings. It grew louder, more distinct, until you realized it was coming from within you. It was your spark. You felt its presence, a steady golden light radiating from the center of your being. It pulsed gently, in perfect harmony with the firefly's glow. The woman's voice came again, soft and soothing. "Do you feel it?" she said. "That is your truth, your purpose, and your essence. It is the light that connects you to everything and everyone." You nodded, unable to speak, as tears welled in your eyes. It was a feeling of pure love, a reminder that you were never truly alone. The woman withdrew her hand, and you opened your eyes. The firefly hovered just inches from your face, its light brighter than ever. "You're ready," the woman said with a smile. "Ready for what?" you asked. "To follow your spark," she replied. Chapter 5: The Journey Home. As you stepped out of the cabin, the firefly darted ahead, its glow illuminating the path back to the meadow. The stars above were brighter now, their light mingling with the soft glow of the fireflies that filled the air. The woman's words echoed in your mind as you walked. Your spark wasn't just for you, it was a gift to the world. And now you felt its warmth guiding you, just as the firefly's glow lit your way. The meadow came into view, its grasses shimmering with dew under the moonlight. The firefly led you back to the grove, where the ancient tree stood waiting. You placed your hand on its trunk once more, feeling the steady rhythm of life pulsing through it. You whispered a quiet thank you, not just to the tree or to the firefly, but to the light within you, the spark that had always been there, waiting for you to remember. As you turned towards the cottage, the firefly followed, its glow a steady companion. As you crossed the threshold and returned to your chair by the window, you felt a sense of peace, unlike anything you'd ever known. The firefly hovered near the window, its light blending with the faint glow of dawn on the horizon. You closed your eyes, letting the warmth of your spark guide you into a restful sleep, knowing that when you woke, your light would shine brighter than ever before. Chapter 6: The Dream of the Eternal Spark. As you drifted into sleep, your mind remained bathed in the gentle glow of the firefly's light. Your breath slowed, deep and even, as the warmth of your inner spark enveloped you. And then, like stepping into another world, you found yourself in a dream unlike any you had ever experienced. You were back in the meadow, but this time the colors were richer, more vivid. The grass shimmered with hues of emerald and gold, and the sky above was a deep indigo, studded with stars that seemed to hum softly. The fireflies were everywhere, their light forming constellations that mirrored the heavens above. In the center of the meadow stood the ancient tree, its branches stretching impossibly high, as though they could cradle the stars themselves. Its bark glowed faintly, etched with symbols and spirals that pulsed with a gentle rhythm. You felt drawn to it, your steps slow and purposeful, as if the ground beneath your feet were guiding you forward. As you reached the tree, the firefly appeared once again, its glow even brighter in the dream world. It circled around you, its movements graceful, before settling on one of the spirals etched into the tree bark. The spiral began to glow, and the light spread outward, illuminating the entire tree. A soft voice echoed in your mind. Not the voice of the elderly woman, but something deeper, older, and more profound. It was the voice of the tree, a voice that carried the wisdom of countless lifetimes. "Welcome, keeper of the spark," it said. "You have walked the path of remembrance. Now you must walk the path of sharing." The words resonated within you, as though they were being spoken not just to your ears, but to your very soul. "I don't understand," you said aloud, your voice soft in the stillness of the meadow. The tree's light pulsed gently, and the firefly flitted to your shoulder, its glow warm and steady. "You carry a light that is unique to you," the tree's voice continued. "It is the essence of who you are, a light that has traveled many lifetimes, growing brighter with each step you take. And now, it's time for you to share that light with the world." The firefly's glow intensified, and you felt a warmth spread through your chest. You placed your hand over your heart, and as you did, you saw a golden light begin to radiate from within you. It grew brighter and brighter until it enveloped you completely. In that moment, you felt everything. You felt the joy and the love of the connections you had made in your life. You felt the sorrow of the moments when your light had seemed to dim. And you felt the strength that had carried you through it all, the unshakable core of your being that had never truly faltered. This is your gift, the tree said. Your spark is not just for you. It is a beacon, a light that will guide others out of their own darkness. It is through sharing your light that you will come to know its true power. The firefly lifted from your shoulder, its glow mingling with your own. Together your lights danced in the air, weaving patterns that seemed to tell a story of resilience, love, and the eternal nature of the spark within. As the dream began to fade, the tree's voice echoed one final message. Follow your spark, and it will lead you to where you are needed. Trust in its light, for it is infinite. Chapter 7. Awakening the Light. When you awoke, the first rays of sunlight were streaming through the window. The meadow beyond the cottage was bathed in golden light, and the fireflies had disappeared with the dawn. But their glow remained with you, a warmth that pulsed gently in your chest. You sat up slowly, the dream still very vivid in your mind. You could still hear the tree's voice, still feel the firefly's light. And as you rose and stepped to the window, you knew that something within you had shifted. The world outside seemed brighter, more alive. The grass shimmered with dew, and the air carried the sweet scent of wildflowers. Everything felt connected, as though the light within you was a thread woven into the fabric of the world itself. You knew what you had to do. The firefly's message was clear. The spark within you wasn't just for you. It was a light meant to be shared, to inspire, and to uplift others. As you stepped out into the meadow, the sunlight warmed your skin, and a gentle breeze carried the songs of birds and the rustle of leaves. You walked with a newfound purpose, your steps light and confident. The path that had once been unfamiliar now felt like an old friend, guiding you forward. You didn't know where it would lead, but you trusted the firefly's light and the spark within you to show you the way. Everywhere you went, you carried the light with you. You shared it in your words, in your actions, in the quiet moments when a simple smile or a kind gesture could brighten someone's day. And as you did, you began to notice something quite extraordinary. The light you shared didn't diminish. It only grew. For every person you touched, every heart you reached, the glow within you became brighter and stronger. And you realized that the firefly's glow was never separate from your own. It had always been a reflection, a reminder of the infinite light you carried within. Chapter 8. Ripples of Light. As you traveled beyond the meadow, your spark became more than just a feeling. It became a way of living. Each day brought new opportunities to share your light. And with every act of kindness, you saw the world around you change in subtle, beautiful ways. One afternoon, as you walked through a quiet village, you noticed a young girl sitting alone beneath a tree, her face streaked with tears. The weight of sadness hung around her like a heavy fog, and her small figure seemed dwarfed by the world around her. You felt the pull of your spark, like a gentle nudge from within, urging you to approach her. Kneeling beside her, you offered her a soft smile and a simple, "Are you okay?" At first, she didn't respond, her gaze fixed on the ground. But then, as the warmth of your presence reached her, she looked up, her tear-filled eyes meeting yours. "I lost my necklace," she whispered. "It was my mama's, and I dropped it in the river. I couldn't reach it, and now it's gone forever." Her words were heavy with sorrow, and you felt her pain as though it were your own. But instead of despair, you felt your spark grow brighter, a quiet assurance that you could help. "Let's see if we can find it," you said gently, extending your hand. Together you walked to the riverbank, the girl's small hand gripping yours tightly. The water sparkled in the sunlight, its gentle currents carrying the faintest glimmers of light. You knelt by the edge, peering into the clear water, and soon you saw it, a delicate silver chain caught on a cluster of rocks just beneath the surface. With careful hands, you reached into the water and retrieved the necklace, holding it up to catch the sunlight. The girl's face lit up with so much joy it made your heart swell. "Thank you," she cried, throwing her arms around your neck. As she held the necklace close to her heart, you noticed a faint glow emanating from her chest, a light that mirrored your own. It was subtle at first, but as her gratitude and happiness grew, so did her spark, until it shone brightly, casting a warm glow that seemed to light up the entire riverbank. In that moment, you realized the truth of what the tree had told you. When you share your light, it ignites the light in others. Chapter 9. A World Transformed. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months. Everywhere you went, you followed the pull of your spark, sharing your light in countless ways, through small acts of kindness, words of encouragement, and simply being present for those who needed it. In a bustling market, you helped a weary merchant carry his heavy wares, earning a grateful smile that lingered long after you left. In a quiet forest, you comforted a lost traveler, guiding them back to the path with the firefly's glow lighting the way. And in a distant town, you stood up for a young boy who was being mistreated, your voice firm yet compassionate as you reminded everyone of the importance of kindness. Each time, you saw the same miracle unfold. The people you touched began to glow, their sparks awakening and growing brighter with each act of connection. And as their light spread, it created a ripple effect, inspiring others to share their own sparks in return. The world around you began to evolve and change. Villages became brighter, more vibrant, as people came together in ways they hadn't before. Neighbors helped one another. Strangers offered kindness without hesitation, and communities flourished as the light spread from one heart to another. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to appear, you found yourself back in the meadow where your journey had begun. The ancient tree stood tall and steady, its branches reaching toward the sky, and the fireflies danced around it in a radiant display. But this time, you weren't alone. People from every corner of your journey had gathered in the meadow, their sparks glowing brightly in the twilight. The young girl with her necklace, the merchant from the market, the lost traveler, the boy you had stood up for. They were all there, their faces alight with joy and gratitude. As you stood beneath the tree, the firefly returned to your shoulder, its glow warm and familiar. The tree's voice echoed in your mind once more. Look around you, keeper of the spark. This is the power of your light. You turned slowly, taking in the sight of the gathered crowd. Their sparks shimmered like stars, each one unique, yet connected to the others. The meadow was alive with light, a reflection of the infinite potential that lay within every soul. The tree's voice continued. The spark within you is the same spark that burns within them. Together, your light can illuminate even the darkest of nights. Tears filled your eyes as you felt the truth of those words. You were no longer just a keeper of your own spark. You were part of something far greater, a constellation of light that spanned the entire world. Chapter 10: The Firefly's Farewell. As the night deepened, the firefly flitted away from your shoulder, joining the others in a dazzling display of light. As it danced through the air, its glow weaving intricate patterns that seemed to tell the story of your journey. The crowd watched in awe, their faces lit with wonder as the firefly's light merged with the stars above, creating a tapestry of light that stretched across the broad sky. The elderly woman's voice echoed in your mind, a gentle reminder of her wisdom. Your spark will guide you towards the things that bring you joy, the people who need your light, and the moments that remind you of who you truly are. As the firefly's glow began to fade, you felt a deep sense of peace. The light within you burned brighter than ever, a steady beacon that would continue to guide you on your journey. And as you stood beneath the ancient tree, surrounded by the glow of countless sparks, you knew that the firefly's message had come full circle. Your light wasn't just for you. It was a gift to the world, a reminder that even the smallest spark could ignite a flame that would light the way for others. As the first rays of dawn stretched across the meadow, the crowd slowly began to disperse, their sparks glowing softly as they returned to their lives. Though the fireflies' display had ended, their message lingered in every heart present. You remained beneath the ancient tree, your hands resting gently on its bark. The symbols carved into its surface seemed to pulse faintly, as if now responding to your touch. You also gazed out at the meadow, watching as the sunlight danced across the grass, turning dew into diamonds. For the first time, you felt completely at peace, not because every question had been answered or every problem solved, but because you trusted the light within to guide the way. Chapter 11: The Infinite Path. The days that followed were filled with quiet moments of joy. You continued to share your light in ways both large and small, and as you did, the world around you seemed to transform. One evening, you came across a young artist sitting by a riverbank, her face creased with frustration. Beside her was a canvas, its surface blank except for a few hesitant strokes of paint. "I can't do it," she said softly, not looking up as you approached. "Every time I try, it just doesn't feel right." You sat beside her, the warmth of your spark filling the space between you. "Maybe it's not about getting it right," you said gently. "Maybe it's about letting your spark guide you." She glanced at you, her expression uncertain. But as you smiled, something in her seemed to shift. Tentatively, she picked up her brush and began to paint. At first, her strokes were careful, but as she let go of her doubts, her movements became fluid, almost effortless. By the time she finished, the canvas was alive with color, vibrant swirls of blue, gold, and violet that seemed to pulse with their own light. She turned to you, her eyes shining with wonder. "Thank you," she whispered. But you only smiled. "It was already within you. You just needed to let it out," you said. Word of your journey began to spread, though not because you sought recognition. The people you had touched spoke of your kindness, your wisdom, and the quiet strength of your presence. They began to call you the Lightkeeper, a title that felt both humbling but somewhat true. You never saw yourself as extraordinary. You knew that the light within you was the same light that burned within everyone else. Your only gift was recognizing it and helping others do the same. In time, others began to follow your example, becoming light keepers in their own right. They carried their sparks into the world, spreading light in ways that were unique to them. Some became healers, others storytellers, and still others found their calling in acts of quiet service. Together, they formed a network of light that spanned villages, towns, and cities, creating a world that was brighter and more connected than ever before. Chapter 12: The Return to the Tree. Years later, when your hair was touched with silver and your steps had grown slower, you found yourself once again standing before the ancient tree. It looked as it always had, timeless, strong, and luminous. The firefly even returned, its glow as bright as ever, encircled you in a graceful arc before settling on your shoulder. "Keeper of the spark," the tree's voice said, its tone warm and familiar. "Your journey has touched many lives. You have become a part of the eternal light, a beacon that will guide others for generations to come." You smiled, your heart full. "It wasn't just me," you said softly. "It was everyone. Their sparks were always there, waiting to be awakened." The firefly's glow intensified, and the tree's branches seemed to stretch even higher, reaching towards the heavens. "Your light will never fade," the tree said. It will live on in the sparks you've ignited, in the lives you've touched, and in the hearts of those who carry your message forward. You have become one with the infinite light. As you lay down beneath the ancient tree, the gentle hum of its energy wrapped around you like a warm embrace. The firefly settled beside you, its glow soft yet steady, and the distant song of the meadow lulled you into a deep and peaceful slumber. But this was no ordinary sleep. As your eyes closed and your body relaxed, a vision unfolded before you, vivid and radiant, a glimpse into the world you had helped create. In this vision, you saw a world transformed. The air itself seemed lighter, shimmering with the golden hue of higher vibrations. People moved with a gentle grace, their steps unburdened by the weight of fear or ego. Each person's spark shone brightly, illuminating their faces with warmth and kindness. Communities were no longer divided by fear or misunderstanding. Instead, they were bound together by threads of connection that glowed with the light of mutual respect and love. You saw people of every kind, different backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences coming together, not despite their differences, but because of them. They embraced one another as mirrors, reflections of the divine spark within, celebrating the unique beauty each brought to the world. Children laughed freely, their joy untainted by worry or doubt, and their sparks danced in their eyes like tiny stars. Elders shared their wisdom, their light radiating with the richness of a life lived with purpose. Strangers stopped to help one another, not out of obligation, but out of genuine care, their actions creating ripples of light that spread far beyond what the eye could see. The vision showed you acts of kindness unfolding in every corner of this better world. You watched as a farmer shared his harvest with those in need, the glow of gratitude lighting up the faces of his neighbors. A musician played her harp in a quiet square, her melodies weaving threads of healing and inspiration into the hearts of those who listened. A group of people gathered to plant trees, their hands working together to nurture the earth and give back to the planet that had sustained them for so long. And through it all, the sparks within each person grew brighter, feeding off one another in an endless cycle of love and light. You saw a world where ego had loosened its grip, where people no longer felt the need to compete or compare. Instead, they recognized their intrinsic worth and celebrated the light in others without dimming their own. The heavy chains of fear, greed, and jealousy had dissolved, replaced by a profound sense of unity and purpose. Darkness no longer held the power that it once did. While shadows still existed, they were no longer feared, but understood, accepted, and transformed. People had learned to face their inner darkness with compassion, to heal rather than suppress, and to use their struggles as stepping stones towards growth. This higher vibration world was one of limitless potential. Creativity flourished, innovation thrived, and every act, no matter how small, was infused with intention and love. People lived in spirit, inspired by the divine essence within themselves and others. They moved with the rhythm of the universe, in harmony with the earth, the stars, and the infinite web of life. As you watched this vision unfold, a realization bloomed within you like a flower opening to the sun. This world of light, kindness, and connection was not something you had merely witnessed. It was something you had helped create. Your choice to accept the Firefly spark, to share your light with others, had been a seed planted in fertile soil. That seed had grown, its roots spreading deep and its branches reaching high, until it had become a forest of light that now encompassed the entire world. You saw the faces of those you had touched, the young girl by the river, the artist by the canvas, the boy you had defended, and how their sparks had ignited others in turn. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, had been a catalyst, a drop of light in the vast ocean of humanity that rippled outward endlessly. Tears filled your eyes as the vision began to fade, leaving behind a profound sense of peace. The firefly's glow pulsed softly beside you, a gentle reminder of the spark you carried within. The tree's voice echoed once more in your mind. Rest now, keeper of the spark. You have seen the world as it can be, a reflection of the light within us all. Trust that your light will continue to shine, even in the darkest moments, and know that every step you take brings this vision closer to reality. As the vision dissolved into the stillness of the night, you felt a deep sense of fulfillment. You had seen the potential of humanity, a world where light and love prevailed, and you knew that your journey was far from over. You would carry this vision forward, letting it guide your steps and inspire your actions. And as you drifted deeper into sleep, your heart swelled with the knowledge that the spark within you was eternal, a flame that would burn brightly for all time. Tonight, you could rest deeply, wrapped in the comfort of knowing that you were part of something far greater than yourself, a constellation of light that would continue to shine, illuminating the path for generations to come. Tomorrow and every day after, you would awaken with renewed purpose, ready to share your light and nurture the sparks in others. And in doing so, you would continue to create a world of higher vibration, a world of kindness, warmth, and infinite love. And so, beneath the ancient tree, with the firefly's glow beside you and the light of the stars above, you surrendered to the peace of the night, your spark glowing softly as it joined the infinite tapestry of light.